Hello, welcome to part 62 of Clinical Physiotherapy MCQ series. Here we go and discuss day-to-day clinical scenario with detailed explanation. Now don't waste our time, let's move to question number 301. During the initial evaluation of a patient with right upper extremity pain, the physical therapist notes that the patient's right scapula is significantly lower than the left scapula. Shortness in which of the following muscles on the right is most likely to lead to this patient's postural presentation? Option A, latissimus dorsi. Option B, upper trapezius. Option C, levator scapulae. Option D, teres major. And the answer is Option A, latissimus dorsi. Explanation for this question is, the latissimus dorsi depresses the shoulder girdle and can be short in patients with depressed scapulae. The upper trapezius, if short, would elevate the scapula. The levator, if short, would elevate the scapula. The teres major, if short, would adduct the arm. Now let's move to question number 307. A patient has had a full thickness burn to the right arm. Which of the following is the most effective treatment to prevent hypertrophic scarring? Option A, compression bandage. Option B, antibiotic ointment. Option C, position optimization. Option D, appropriate splint use. And the answer is Option A, compression bandage. Explanation for this question is, Option A, compression wraps and pressure garments, combined with scar massage, are the most common interventions to prevent hypertrophic scarring. Option B, this will help maintain a clean, moist environment, but is not the most effective at preventing hypertrophic scarring. Option C, this is appropriate to use to prevent joint contractures. Option D, this is appropriate to use to prevent joint contractures. Now let's move question number 308. A 75-year-old patient with peripheral vascular disease has been referred for conditioning exercise. He demonstrates moderate claudication pain in both legs following a 12-minute walking test. The most appropriate exercise frequency and duration for this patient is Option A, 2 times per week, bid 20 minutes, session. Option B, 3 times per week, 30 minutes, session. Option C, 3 times per week, 60 minutes, session. Option D, 5 times per week, bid 10 minutes, session. And the answer is Option D, 5 times per week, bid 10 minutes, session. Explanation for this question is, patients with vascular insufficiency and claudication pain should be encouraged to walk daily, 2 to 3 by per day. Duration should be short. The patient should walk to the point of maximum tolerable pain and allowed to rest. Now let's move to question number 309. A physical therapist is developing a gait training program for a patient following a total hip arthroplasty of the right hip performed via an anterolateral approach 2 weeks ago. The proper instructions and rationale for crutch training utilizing one crutch include holding the crutch in thigh. Option A, right hand to decrease activity in the right hip abductors. Option B, right hand to facilitate activity in the right hip abductors. Option C, left hand to decrease activity in the right hip abductors. Option D, left hand to facilitate activity in the right hip abductors. And the answer is Option C, left hand to decrease activity in the right hip abductors. Explanation for this question is, with an anterolateral approach, the gluteus medius is reflected or the trochanter is taken down. Postoperatively, these structures need time to heal and will not be healed only 2 weeks after surgery. The abductors should not be aggressively strengthened with exercise. Now let's move to question number 310. A patient with 2nd and 3rd degree burns to the face and neck is receiving treatment by a physical therapist. Which of the following complications will be most significant during rehabilitation? Option A, hypertrophic scarring. Option B, respiratory distress. Option C, joint contractures. Option D, nutritional deficiencies. And the answer is option B, respiratory distress. Explanation for this question is, option B, burns to the face and neck can cause high levels of edema and respiratory distress, requiring intubation and surgical interventions. Option A, this is a possible complication, but not the most significant. Option C, this is a possible complication, but not the most significant. Option D, again, a possible complication due to inability to eat, but not the most significant. So, that's all for today. If you have any doubts, please comment below. I think you have learned something valuable today. See you on the next part, that's part 63. See you till then, bye bye.